Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So I just thought I would do a little short video showing you the different weights of yarn, and also what kind of yarn falls in those categories. And I'm going to tell you what the weight would be in the UK and Australia also, because I get a lot of people that ask me that, so I thought I'd just do a little bit of a short video just to show you. So we'll start out with in the US. This is a 0 lace weight. Now, there's different kinds of yarn that would fall in this category, and it would be thread would be the most common, lace yarn, or cobweb yarn. Those would all fall into the size 0 lace weight category in the US. In the UK, this would be considered a 1-ply, and in Australia, it would be considered a 2-ply. You know, of course, this can be used for doilies and all sorts of things, dresses, baby dresses. So, you know, whatever you want to use it for. It is a bit tedious to work with because it's so small, but it makes beautiful things. The next one in the US is a Superfine number 1. In the US, things that fall in this category would be sock yarn, fingering weight yarn, even baby weight yarn. And in the UK, a fingering weight would be a 2-ply, which would fall in the same category. And a sock weight would be a 3-ply in the UK, which would fall in the same category as the number 1 for the US standards. In Australia, this would be considered a 3-ply. Now, of course, you can use Superfine for anything that you want. Makes beautiful shawls, dresses. A little tedious to work with because it is rather small. But, I mean, it can make beautiful things if you got the patience to work with it. So that's the Superfine 1 in the US. The next one would be a fine weight number 2 in the US, right here. Yarns that fall in that category would be like a sport weight yarn, or a baby weight yarn also can fall into this category. In the UK, this is considered a 4-ply. In Australia, it is considered a 5-ply. Again, you can use this for anything that you want. It's still on the small side, not quite as small as the other ones we've seen, but anything your heart desires you can make with it. So it's a nice yarn. The next one we have is in the US, a lightweight 3 yarn. Other yarns that fall in this category would be a lightweight worsted or a DK. In the UK, this would be called a DK yarn, which stands for double knit. And also in Australia, this would be considered an 8-ply. Again, anything you want it to be. Number 3, you can make lots of stuff with it, just like you can anything else. It's a bit thicker than the other ones that we've seen. I will use it sometimes. I don't mind using it as much as I used to, but it's a nice yarn. It's a nice weight. The next one is probably one of the most common ones you will see in the US. This is medium weight 4. Yarns that fall in the medium weight 4 category would be a worsted weight yarn, a wren yarn, sorry about that, and Afghan yarn also all fall under this category. Now in the UK, this is called an Iran yarn, and in Australia, this would be considered a 10-ply. Many uses for this. Many uses. It's very common in the US. Probably one of the most common yarns to use would be the size 4 medium weight. The next one in the US is going to be a bulky 5 weight. Other yarns that fall into this category in the US would be chunky yarn, craft yarn, rug yarn. They're all considered a bulky 5. In the UK, this would be considered a chunky yarn. And in Australia, this would be a 12-ply yarn. Many uses for this too. I enjoy working with bulky 5 also very much. Okay, and the next one in the US is a super bulky 6. Also, just plain bulky. If you see yarn that's bulky, that would fall into the super bulky category, number 6. And roving yarn also would fall into the same category as a super bulky 6. In the UK, this is called a super chunky yarn. And in Australia, this is called a 14-ply. Nice yarn. Lots of uses for this too. Now also, I don't have any now, but in the US there is a number 7 jumbo, which is very thick yarn, which you need like a big old hook for, like a 25 millimeter, or you need to use your fingers or something, but I don't have any on hand to show you that. But that's it. Now, that's the difference of them. I'm sorry if I pronounced any words or, pronounced anything wrong. But like I said, any of these yarns can be used for anything. I will use any yarn, for anything. I mean, I'll make dresses out of this, and I'll make dresses out of this. It doesn't bother me. I'll make doilies out of this, and I would make doilies out of super bulky yarn. I mean, maybe not chunky, but, any of this stuff is going to work well for anything that you want to make. The smaller lace weight and the Superfine, they probably do work best for lacier projects. Like you have a lacy baby dress, a lacy shawl, something like that, a lacy doily, stuff like that. But you can use them for anything that you want. But they would work best for the lacy type projects. And then the number 2 fine and the lightweight 3, they work well for anything too. Lightweight, I make baby dresses out of it, shawls out of it, ponchos out of it. The 2, you could do the exact same thing. So, and 4-ply, I make anything out of 4-ply. Anything pretty much out of bulky 5. 6, I do make women's clothing sometimes out of it. And it's great for chunky baby blankets and stuff like that. So, but I just want to go ahead and give you a little heads up on, the differences and, what type of yarns fall in those categories. Hopefully I didn't miss any. If I did, you can always write it in the comment section and let me know. Sorry if I pronounced any words wrong. So that's it. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight of the weights of the yarns and what types of yarns fall in those categories, and also the difference between the US, UK, and Australia. So hopefully I helped you out a little bit. So let me know in the comment section if you can think of any other yarns that fall into each of these categories that I didn't mention. I'd really like to hear them. So thanks everybody for watching.